Welcome to Tarot's Landing, this little shoreline where we explore tarot old and new, the classic archetypes and the strange living symbols that keep finding their way into the deck. Settle in, take a breath, and let's see what wants to be known. A gentle reminder before we begin. Not every reading is for everyone. If what comes through feels like it's speaking directly to you, you're in the right place. Welcome. And if halfway through it starts to drift away from you, that's okay too. Trust that. Keep what's yours, leave the rest, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. As I tune in, I'm getting the feeling this session is about aftermath and honesty, the kind that doesn't dramatize the wound, but also doesn't pretend it never happened. There's a sense of something returning, an old feeling, an old choice, maybe an old desire showing up in a new shape. I also feel a threshold nearby, like you're standing at the edge of a new beginning. But you'll be asked to notice what you're trading for speed and what needs to be named before you can move forward cleanly. Let's begin. Alright, so this first card coming down is Sea Glass reversed, and immediately this feels like the reading's open in truth. There's something here about aftermath that hasn't fully become wisdom yet. Something may look healed on the surface, or at least manageable, but underneath it still has an edge. And I want to say that gently, because this doesn't feel like failure. It feels like a sign that you've survived enough to make meaning out of what happened. But maybe you've had to do that a little too quickly. For some of you, this is an old hurt, an old relationship, or even an old version of yourself returning in a subtler form. Not as the original crisis, but as a fragment of it. And the card is asking, are you holding this as a lesson, or are you still holding it as identity? Because those are not the same thing. Sea glass reversed can point to healing that's become performative, private stories you keep retouching, or a wound you've learned to describe beautifully without fully letting it go. And I keep hearing, smooth is not the same as safe. So this first card is naming the place where you may still be gripping something sharp. Grief, pride, resentment, the need to be understood, the need to be right. Before this row moves forward, there's an invitation here to be honest about what still cuts. Oh, wow, the second card is Love Upright. And I have to say, with Sea Glass reversed sitting beside it, this feels incredibly important because love here is not coming in as fantasy or rescue or some sweeping cinematic answer. It feels like the corrective. What I'm hearing is love is trying to become honest where pain has been rehearsing itself. Because love in this deck is a vow card. It asks, what are you actually willing to do consistently to make something safe, whole, and real? Not just what you feel, not just what you miss, not just what you hope gets redeemed. It's asking about practice. For some of you, this is absolutely about a relationship, someone current, someone returning, or even the possibility of repair. But it only works if love stops being treated like proof and starts being treated like care. Open hands, clear words, boundaries that protect connection instead of testing it. And for others, honestly, this is about self-relationship first. If Sea Glass reversed says you've been holding an old shard too tightly, love says you do not have to keep hurting yourself to prove that what happened mattered. This card is sacred, but not soft in a careless way. It says the next step forward has to be built on mutuality, truth, and a vow you can actually keep. Not intensity, not longing, not fear. Love is here, but it wants to be lived, not just felt. Okay, the third card is the Fool Upright. And this is where the reading opens, because after Sea Glass reversed and Love Upright, the Fool says, yes, there is a beginning here, but it cannot be entered carrying the whole old story exactly as it was. This feels like a threshold card in the clearest possible way. A step, a yes, a movement forward that will not come with total certainty. And I really want to say this carefully. This is not reckless energy. It's not forget what happened or just leap in hope. It's more like take the lesson, leave the performance of the wound. Let love teach you how to move differently and then actually move. For some of you, this is a new chapter in relationship. For others, it's a new way of relating entirely. Less guarded, less scripted, less controlled by what hurt before. The Fool is asking, what would beginning look like if you didn't need guarantees first? There's innocence here, but not ignorance. The card knows there's risk. It just refuses to make fear the authority. So this third card feels like permission, sacred permission, to start before you feel perfectly ready. To be honest, to be open, to let the next step be small, but real. The road is here now. The question is whether you're willing to meet it without dragging every old shard into the doorway. So just pausing here for a moment, this reading is moving from what still has an edge into what love actually asks of you, and now towards a real beginning. We started with sea glass reversed, which said there's still something from the past being held a little too tightly. Then love came in and said, healing isn't about proving the pain, it's about practicing care, honesty, and mutuality. And now the Fool is opening the door, asking you to step forward without needing absolute certainty first. So as we move into these next cards, I really feel we're going to see what this new beginning wants from you and what helps you cross that threshold cleanly. Alright, the fourth card is Golden Offer Upright. And this is exactly the kind of threshold test I felt sitting near this reading from the beginning. Because after Sea Glass reversed, Love upright, and the Fool upright, here comes the question. What are you being tempted to rush? What looks like the perfect answer, the clean solution, the immediate yes, especially if you're tired of waiting, tired of healing, tired of not knowing? Golden Offer is a card of shortcut energy. It says something may be presenting itself as exactly what you wanted. Love, reassurance, access, relief, closure, opportunity. But the card asks you to look deeper. If you get the outcome quickly, what part of your becoming gets skipped? And this feels especially important in connection with love, because for some of you, this could be a relationship dynamic where it's very easy to secure closeness without actually building trust, or to accept attention instead of mutuality, or to take a promise that sounds beautiful but hasn't been lived yet. And with the Fool here, I want to be clear. A new beginning is available, but not every open door is the right one. Some doors are real beginnings. Some are just relief dressed as destiny. So this card is asking for discernment, not cynicism, discernment. If something glitters here, slow down. Read the emotional fine print, because what's meant for you should not require you to trade away your future self just to have it now. Alright, the fifth card is Underdark Upright, and honestly, this feels like the card that tells us what this whole new beginning is sitting on top of. Because Underdark says, before you cross fully into what's next, there is one deeper truth that wants to be named. Not dramatized, not endlessly analyzed, just named. This is the foundation card, the bedrock card, the thing underneath the thing. And with Golden Offer right before it, I really feel this is saying, if you try to skip this deeper honesty, you'll be much more vulnerable to taking the shortcut, to choosing relief instead of real alignment, to saying yes to something shiny because you haven't fully admitted what hurts, what you fear, or what you're still hungry for. Underdark is not a punishment card, it's a descent for clarity. It asks, what have you been editing out of the story? What need, grief, resentment, longing, or fear have you made smaller so you could keep moving? Because the beautiful thing here is, once it's named, it stops running the whole structure from underground. So this last card says the way forward is real, love is real, the beginning is real. But it has to be built on something honest, not polished, not rushed, honest. And I keep hearing, say the true thing, and the path gets quieter. It was a pleasure doing this reading for you. Please subscribe for more readings.